Hey guys, so in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this Halloween trick-or-treat bag, which was designed by me, and I absolutely love this design. So this is a design I believe somebody in my comments commented like, hey, you should make a Halloween trick-or-treat bag. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly who you were. I get a lot of requests. And I was like, I don't know how that would work, and I kind of like threw out the idea for a couple weeks, and then like, I think it was like last week, I was thinking about it and I was like, hold up, that could be like really cute. So I did it and I absolutely love it. I think it's so cute, and the funnest part about these is that there's literal candy in the top. So I posted a photo on Instagram, I don't know if you guys can see this well, is like I made some little candies and you can like pull them out. There's like candy corn and you can pull them out, which I think is so fun. Like you can put candy in this guy, and then there's just like stuffing, but like he can have candies in him, and I love it. Some of these candies are not like the final version. I believe like this is the final version of like the candy, and then this candy corn. So yeah, my little brother asked me like, why didn't you put any lollipops in him? Like, dude, I tried. The only kind of candy I was able to do was the candy corn, and then the like these just like candy looking pieces. But I'm sure if any of you really wanted, you could probably come up with different candies to make to stick inside him, but I just think it's so fun. So this one's supposed to look like it has a ghost face and it's like a little trick-or-treat bucket. This one has like a pumpkin face, and I'll be showing you how to do both the faces today because we make the buckets the same, it's just a difference in faces. And this guy has candy in him as well. He has a candy corn. It's got some pieces of candy. And you can pull them all out. Oh, it's so fun, I love it. So this is a fairly easy design. I think the ghost face is definitely easier, and you probably have more, like, this is easier to do than the pumpkin because we do have to go like up and down, but it's not horribly hard, and I'm gonna walk you through it, so it should be okay, hopefully. But yeah, I really love this design and I'm excited to show you guys how to make it. So I guess we'll get into it. Like I said, I think this design is super easy. Like, if you're a beginner, you can do this. You got this, no? But yeah, so band wise it's also really pretty, like it's not very band heavy. I think that this thing in total takes probably about 150 to 170 bands. I haven't done the official band count yet, so if you are really worried about how many bands it takes, you can check the description down below and I will have the band count in there. But as a theme in recent tutorials, I'm doing some kind of guesstimation that is usually off, and my guess is like around 150. But yeah, check the description if you want the official band count. But yeah, so I think that is it, and we'll get into it. So of course, you're gonna want to get whatever bands you want for this guy. Just a color for the main bucket, and probably black. You could do different colors, but black works, you know. You're also just gonna need a bunch of like various colors for the candy, and you don't need like a lot per candy. I believe, like for the candy corn, you obviously need like one. Well, I'll have the official band count in the description, but you just need some colors you want for the candy you're gonna make to stick in them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, you're gonna need a hook. I'm gonna be using my double-ended hook today. You don't need a double-ended hook. I just really love this hook. As you guys know, if you've seen any of my tutorials, I just use this hook in all of them. This hook's my child. No, that's, I'm in a, I don't know. But yeah, so for the bucket today, I'm gonna be using, I don't know if I should go green or light orange. I want to go green. I was gonna do an orange bucket, but no, I was gonna do a purple bucket, but I was looking through my band collection that I brought with me to college, and I don't have any purple left, so that's fun. Yeah, so if you don't know, I'm in college right now. Just a quick note while I pick up some bands before we get started. So I'm in college right now, so I don't have my full band collection that I have at home, and yeah, I'm completely out of purple, but my family's coming to visit me in 2 weeks, I think, so maybe I'll be like, go to my room, grab some purple bands and bring them to me. No, I might though, because like I'm completely out of purple bands and it's not good. That are, like, there's no craft stores in the area. I don't know, maybe I'll have to go find some bands. But yeah, so yeah, so as always, the pattern will be in the description if you want to watch that while following along. But we are going to get started here. Sorry if that intro was a little long. I'm in a bit of a talkative mood today. I feel like that's a theme in recent tutorials just because like I don't get to film tutorials as often as I used to because of school. So anytime I get to, I'm like, yes. I'm also just adjusting the lighting real quick because it was a little weird. Yeah, that's better. So we are going to start by wrapping a band 3 times around a hook. So we're going to do a triple cap band, and then we'll be putting 5 stitches into this cap band. So we're just going to wrap this 3 times around a hook. So 1, 2, 3, and like I said, we'll be putting 5 stitches into this cap band. So we'll start by getting a band, pulling the cap band onto this band, putting both ends back on our hook, and then you're going to want to push the back loop over the front loop. Then we're going to go back into the cap band, and we're going to do kind of the same thing. So we're going to pull a band through just the cap band. We're going to put both ends back on our hook. We're going to push the back one over the front one. And then we would push the loop from last time over as well, but it kind of just slid over when I was doing that. But yeah, we're going to repeat that thing we just did 3 more times, so we have 5 loops in total. So we'll go back in through the cap band, and always make sure you go through the whole cap band. Pull a band through just the cap band, put both ends back on our hook, push the back loop over the front loop, and then push the loop from last time over as well. Like that. We just gotta do this 2 more times. So it's 1, 2. So once you're pretty sure you have 5 loops, you're gonna want to count to make sure. So we're gonna count all the loops. So we'll start by counting the one on our hook. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So once you make sure you have 5 loops, instead of going back into the cap band, we're gonna go through this first loop. So this point right here, we're gonna pull the band through just the loop, both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well. And we're gonna be putting our C-clip on this one. Like that. So that's the first part. So for the next part, we're going to be increasing everything. So that just basically means we're doing increases all the way around. And yeah, I'm picking up a few more bands, and then we will get into that. So like I said, we're increasing everything, so we're doing increases all the way around. This first stitch already has 1 stitch in it, but because we're increasing, we're going to want to go back in and do another stitch. Like that. So all an increase basically is you're just doing 2 stitches per loop. There's 1, there's 2, and that would be an increase. So we're just going to keep doing that all the way around until we get to the C-clip. So we're just pretty much putting 2 stitches per loop, or like increasing all the way around. Yeah, I was really like flip-flopping on what colors to do for this guy, because I thought a purple pumpkin would be so cute, like to do like a purple little pumpkin trick-or-treat basket. And then I realized I have no purple, so I gotta sort that out. Okay. I was just seeing what I've done so far, making sure I didn't forget to increase on any. But we're just increasing all the way around. And then once you get to the C-clip, you're just gonna make a single stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it. And then you'll move your C-clip up, so you'll take it off this loop and move it up onto the band that's on your hook. Like that. And now if we count around, we should be at 10 loops. So we'll start by counting the one on our hook. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that. So the next one, we're going to do something kind of similar to what we just did. We're going to be increasing every other. And what that basically means is we'll just be alternating between doing an increase and then a single stitch. And then we just alternate between doing those 2 stitches all the way around until we get to the C-clip. And at the end of this row, we should be at 15 loops. So yeah. And I'm picking up bands again. Also, I forgot to mention, but if you guys hear anything outside my window, I can't help it. People are constantly wilding. Like I mentioned earlier, I moved to college, so I just live closer to a road. So it's not like at home where like the biggest noise I had to worry about was my family, like just being silly in the background. But yeah, here I just have a lot of car noises and stuff, so yeah. Like I said, for this one, we're going to be increasing every other. So this first one will count as our single stitch, and then the next one would be an increase. So you're going to do an increase, like that. And because we just did an increase, the next one's gonna be a single stitch. And then because we did a single stitch, the next one will be an increase. So hopefully you get what we're doing. We're just alternating between doing a single stitch and a increase. It's a single stitch, increase, then we do a single stitch, we got to do an increase, okay. So now that we are back at our C-clip, we're gonna make a single stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it, and we're gonna move it up. So we take it off that loop, move it up onto the loop that is on our hook. And if we count around, we should be at 15 loops, so we'll start by counting the one on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like that. So now is where it gets repetitive already. So we are going to be doing 5 rows of single stitches, or just 5 rows normal. And at the end of each of these 5 rows, you should still be at numbers. You should still be at 15 loops. I wanted to say 16, but no, 15 loops. And yeah, so we have to do 5 rows. I'm gonna stay and do 2 rows on camera with you, and then I'm gonna go off and do the other 3 rows, and then you'll come back and I'll show you what to do next. But yeah, we're gonna do 5 rows normal, so just 5 rows of single stitches, and at the end of each of the rows you should be at 15 loops, and I'm picking up bands. So this tutorial is gonna be coming out like right before Halloween, so I'm just curious, are any of you guys dressing up for Halloween? It sucks because I haven't dressed up the past 2 years just because, well, 2 of those years was did I dress up last year? No, I've been doing the lazy option, and I have a Sully onesie, you know, like those kind of like pajamas. I don't know what, they're not pajamas. You know what a onesie is, like the character onesies. I have one of Sully from like Disney, and I've been just using that for like the past three years. Yeah, 3 years I've just been Sully, and I love dressing up for Halloween, and I thought this year I was gonna actually do a costume, but I ended up running out of time before I could decide what I wanted to be. So I'm not dressing up as anything this year, but if any of you guys are dressing me up, comment down below what you're dressing up as, just because I love Halloween and it sucks that I'm not gonna be able to dress up this year. But yeah, so we're just gonna do single stitches all the way around, so we're just doing 1 stitch per loop until we get to the C-clip. So we'll just do 1 stitch per loop. We're just single stitching all the way around. But yeah, like I mentioned, by the way, we're just doing single stitches till we get to the C-clip, so I'm just going to talk about the Halloween thing. So I hope you guys are going to dress up and have fun this year on Halloween. I know a lot of you are probably younger than me, so if you go trick-or-treating, I hope you have fun. I trick-or-treated until I was, how old did I trick-or-treat till? I think I was 17 when the last time I went, which I think is fair. I think, honestly, trick-or-treating should be, like, up until high school age, if I'm being perfectly honest, just because, like, it's fun, you know? That's not important, but, yeah. The past couple years I just have not dressed up. I wore my Sully like onesie to school the last like Halloween. That was kind of more fun because the past 2 I definitely didn't do much because of the pandemic. I know last year we went to my grandma's, but I still think I only did the onesie thing. Like I just did not have the energy to dress up. And then this year I thought, oh, I'll dress up for sure, and then school kind of got in the way and I forgot to order what I wanted to dress up as, so that sucked. So I just did 1 row of single stitches, and if I counted around I would still be at 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're going to go around and do that again. So this would be row 2 of single stitches. And like I said, we want to do 5 total, and after this one I will be going off camera to do the rest. So yeah. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in myself because I really thought I was going to dress up this year, and I kind of had some ideas of what I wanted to be. The first one was gonna be Loki. I was thinking of doing kind of like a Loki costume. I love Marvel, so I was like, that could be fun, and Loki's one of my favorite characters. He's just so chaotic, and I'm like, same, no. But I thought I could do that. And then my sister, because Taylor Swift's new album came out recently, was like, hey, I'm gonna be Midnight Rain for Halloween. You should be like Sunshine, because she has a lyric that's like, what is it? Hold up. I listened to Midnight, what is it? He was sunshine, I was midnight rain. So she was like, you can be sunshine. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea, because I owned roller skates that are gold, and I'm like, I can dress all gold. It'll be fun, you know. I can do like a long distance Halloween costume with Bread, my sibling. And I just forgot to order the stuff. I had a painting due, and it like totally just took over my life for a couple days. Well, yeah, it did. And I just forgot. So this year, I don't even have my Sully onesie with me that I can just like throw that on, which sucks. I might see, because my mom has like a Walmart account that they can deliver stuff, so maybe I'll see if like I can deliver a costume last minute, because I do have painting class on Halloween, and I'm like, it would be fun to go over, like, just even if I'm just like in some kind of character onesie, I think it would be fun to go do that. So yeah, the other option I might do is, I'm not a person who wears makeup, but maybe I'm thinking I'll do some like Halloween-y makeup. A couple years ago, me and my sister, we dressed up as like witches kind of, and we did like spiderweb like eyeliner kind of thing. So maybe I could do something like that for Halloween, because I love Halloween, and it just sucks that I just completely forgot to get a costume this year. But yeah, if you're dressing me up, like, let me know what are your plans for Halloween. I'm not a fan of the spooky factor of Halloween. I just like the dressing up the candy. If you know me, you know I've got like some kind of massive sweet tooth, so yeah, I support the dressing up, the candy, and the spooky Oreos. I'm here for all that. Honestly though, now that I'm older, like, obviously I still don't own a house, so I could like hand out candy on Halloween, but I know like in the future I would love to do that, because then like you can still dress up, but then you can be on like the other end of trick-or-treating where you like dress up, but you hand out candy this time, so you know, fun. I am sad though that I won't be able to go to my grandma's this year for Halloween, because my grandma also loves Halloween and it's always fun, so that sucks. But you know, school. Anyways, that was my second row of single stitches, so let me count around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have 15 still. We're gonna want to repeat that thing we just did 3 more times, so we have 5 rows in total. So I'm gonna go off camera, I'm gonna go do 3 more rows, and then I'm gonna come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so after the 5 rows, it should be looking something like this. So it should be looking like this. And you should still be at 15 loops, so if we count, we should still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like that. So the next step, and we're actually almost done, we only have like 2 steps left. So the next step is going to be to do a half row. So we're going to do a row of single stitches, but we're only going to be grabbing the outer halves of all the loops. So we actually have to fix this first stitch, so let's undo the stitch that our C-clip is on. Like that. And we're gonna redo it, but the only thing, like I said, we're doing a half row, so we're only grabbing the outer half of each loop. So instead of going through the whole loop, you're only gonna pick up the outer half. And then you just make a stitch like usual. So you would just pull a band through just that loop, put both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well. And then you'd put your C-clip back on this one because we ended it. And we're just going to do that all the way around. Like I said, we're doing single stitches, but the only thing that's different is that we are grabbing only the outer half of each loop. So like that. And I'll show you again. So you just go, you grab the outer half of the loop, and then you just make a stitch. And we're doing this all the way around. So we just keep going around, grabbing only the outer half until we get to the C-clip. And we're just doing single stitches. And it'll look a little odd at first, but once you do the second row after this, well, we're not doing the same thing again, but once you do the row after this, it looks correct. So don't worry if it looks a little odd at first. But yeah. So I know it was like 2 seconds for you guys when I like flipped to do the rows, but I actually had to take like, I think it took me like 30 minutes because I realized that if I'm showing you how to do the two different faces, like the ghost and the pumpkin, I needed 2 different buckets to do the faces on, like 2 different like loom things. So I had to make another one, and I was like, oops, I probably should have done that before I started filming, but I completely forgot. I was gonna do it last night and I just forgot. But yeah. But yeah, this design comes together quite quickly after this. I completely forgot about that. I haven't made this in like a couple days because I came up with the design earlier this week, I think. Or was it like last week? I don't know. My sense of time is so off. But yeah. So we're still only grabbing the outer half. And then once you get to the C-clip, wait, oh, there's still a loop. I wasn't sure. Make sure you don't miss any loops. I nearly just missed a loop. But once you get to the C-clip, you're going to go through both loops again, and then you'll just make a single stitch and move your C-clip up. So we should still be at 15 loops, so if we count around, we should still be at 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like that. So now we're just going to do a row of single stitches around this, and that'll be the last row for this design. We're just going to tie it off after this, and then I will show you how to do the rest of this guy. I mean, obviously this is a tutorial. I don't know, man. I feel like whenever I pause my tutorials and like I take a break to go like, well, I didn't take a break, but like I had to go make another bucket so I can show you how to do both the faces. I always forget what I was doing in the tutorial. I'm like, where was I? So it just always happens. But yeah, we're just gonna do single stitches all the way around. Until we get to the C-clip. You know, I feel like I think I mentioned this a couple tutorials ago, but if you don't know, I got this camera to make tutorials recently, and I feel like I finally have sorted out how to make the lighting look good, because I think in my first tutorial I did with this camera, I mean in my new apartment, the lighting was just so whack, so I'm glad I finally sorted that out. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear all the cars. I swear I started filming and then all of a sudden cars are just wilding. I don't know what they're doing. But we're almost at the C-clip. So once you get to the one that has a C-clip on it, you're just going to go through that one, and we're going to tie it off. So we're just going to pull a band through everything on our hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then we can just take our C-clip out, and we're pretty much done. So we are going to want to tuck this tail in, and usually I'll just like come through some bands here. And then I'll just pull it kind of in, or like down, and then I'll pull it into the bucket. And you do want to kind of tuck it under first, because the thing is right now you can kind of bend this ledge over, and because of that half row we did, it'll just bend over nicely, but you don't want this band to be sticking out, which is why it's kind of best to tuck it in a little bit, just so it's farther down, because if it's at the top where we put like the candies and stuff, you can see it, but you want to like tuck it down through some loops. So I'll just go through, and that should be good. So now it should look something like this, and the next step is going to be making the candy and everything, and the face. I think we're going to do the face first, just because then we put a cotton ball in, and you really want to do the whole face before you stuff him, kind of. You don't have to stuff this guy, you can leave him like this, but I think just so you don't have to fill him all the way up with candy and like make a bunch, which you could make a bunch and use that, but I think it's best to just like put a little bit of stuffing. So I think we'll do the face next. So you're going to want to get your bands that you want to use for your face color. I used black, I'm going to be using black again today, and we're going to do the face. So let me double check how I did this, even though I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know what to do. Okay, it's made exactly how I thought. So the first thing we're going to do is we're kind of going to make like a long chain, not like a chain, like a slip knot chain of bands, and we're kind of going to just stitch this mouth in. So we're going to pull another black band through the black band that I kind of already set on our hook, We're gonna pull it through, both ends back on our hook, and push the back one over the front one and pull tight. We'll do that again. Pull tight. You just pull the band through, ends back on your hook. Back one over the front one and pull tight. So we can make this longer if we need to be honest. I don't remember how long I made it the first time, but I kind of just made like a slip knot chain of 4 bands. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna come where we want the mouth. I think it's easier to do the mouth first than the eyes. At least that's how I did it the first time. So we're just gonna come where we want the mouth. And let me check something real quick. Okay, so I had to double check how I did the mouth because it's been a minute, like I said, since I made this. It's been like a week and I was like, I don't remember how to do it, but I got it. So the only thing is we are gonna wanna make our slip knot chain like one more longer. So just put the end back on your hook. And then you're just gonna pull the band through just like we did before. Both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one and pull tight. So you want it to be like 5 bands long. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna come where you want the mouth. You wanna leave space for the eyes, so you wanna come fairly low. Let's come, I'm gonna go from the inside and pull it in kind of. So we're gonna come right here. We're going to take our chain of chain of bands. We're gonna pull it in. And this is the end that we're not going to pull in like super far, so you just need to barely pull it in. And then we're going to kind of come up like up and diagonal. You can go like really, like, okay, the way I'm looking at this is there's like, here's 1 row of stitches, here the next row. You can go 2 rows up and make it like a more drastic zigzag. But for this guy, I only came 1 row up, so I'm going to do that again today. So you can see that there's like these are kind of the rows and there's like these little holes in between. I'm only going to go up 1, so I'm gonna come like right here and I'm gonna pull this long side in like that, and then you'll have a little black mark. And the shorter side, as long as you don't pull this too much, it should hang there for right now. We are gonna tie it down later, so if you have too much of the like shorter side, you can just pull on it and it should make it like shorter. See? You do want to leave it out a little bit though, just so that way when we're pulling on this, it doesn't completely like come loose. But now we're going to come to the front side. We're going to come where we want like the bottom part to be, because we're kind of making a zigzag. This is very similar to stitching, if any of you guys have ever done sewing. But we're going to come like right here. We're going to go in. We're going to snag our long chain. We're going to pull it out. And then we're going to go back into the same hole where we had the top part of this one. So we're gonna go through the inside now too. So you know how I went like in and then pulled it out? Now we're going to go from the inside. And we're going to go exactly like I said, the top part where we pulled in the black. Let me grab this black band. Pull it in. And then you'll have a little zigzag. So we're going to kind of keep doing this all the way across. So the way I like to think about it is like you want to put the end of where you want it first and then you go back into the same spot. So I want this to zigzag down now. So I'm going to come through this top part here, and as you can see I'm coming from the outside. I'm going to snag this long piece. I'm going to pull it in. And now we're going to come for the bottom, well, we're gonna go through the inside, come to the bottom where like that last stitch was, and we're gonna pull this back in like that, and we're just gonna keep zigzagging across to make the mouth. So the next spot I'm gonna come is right here, and then I'll go back into here. So you kind of see how I'm putting like the end and then I go back. Kind of what you want to keep in mind. I'm gonna go very slow and I'm kind of like walking you through it, so you can just put it exactly where I do and watch what I do. So we're gonna go from the outside to the inside so we can snag that band like that, and then we're gonna go back right here to the top, pull it towards the inside like that. We just keep going across until we have our pumpkin's mouth. So I'm gonna come, I just did this one, I'm gonna come right here, and we're going to come from the outside. So basically, if this part is on the inside, you want to come from the outside and snag it. And we're going to go up here, pull it out. And now that this part's on the outside, we're going to come from the inside, and we're also coming right here. Like, we're going to come out of that same spot, and then we're going to pull it in. Like that. And I think we're almost done with our mouth. So we're gonna come right here. And once again, this is on the inside, so we're gonna come from the outside. Also, like, to know how you wanna make it zigzag, basically, you're gonna wanna come where you want the end to be, and then you go back into where it was last time. I'm hoping you guys are getting that. This kind of makes sense to me, but I have done embroidery before, so if you haven't done embroidery, I know it can be a little confusing, but basically we came out, we pulled it out. I hate when I whack my camera with my hook. I'm like, I don't want to scratch the lens. But I loom like a lunatic, apparently. Is that a good spot to come out of? Hold up, I did not come out of a good did I? Sorry. It's hard to see where I'm coming out from. Hold up. Hold up. I'm a little confused. Okay, no, I came out of the right spot. I don't know. So, sometimes if you go in an odd spot, it might get a little confusing, but you just kind of have to hope it comes out, okay? And you can always go back and undo it if it doesn't look right. But this part is definitely the hardest part. So once we've come out this way, we're going to go back into where we went last time. Okay, yeah, those are a little close together, but I think it's fine. We're gonna come right here. I think this will be almost the last one. We'll do one more and then that'll be it. Pull it out. Then we'll go back into this top here. Right, the top? Are we at the top? Yeah, we come back into the top. Like that. And then because I don't want my pumpkin to look sad, we're gonna come up here. We're gonna pull it out. Then we go back into the start here. Pull it towards the inside. Oops, wait, did I do that right? Oh no, I went through the wrong spot. Oops. Sometimes it's hard to see where I go through with my camera in the way, but we're gonna come basically back to where the black is. And pull it towards the inside, and then that'll be our pumpkin mouth. So we're gonna want to tie these two things down on the inside. We can flip it inside out so we can see better. So let me flip it inside out. So I may have left this side a little too short. So this is our one end, and we're just gonna go through part of our bucket, and we're just gonna tie it down just so the mouth doesn't come out. So we'll take a band, pull it through everything on our hook, and you are gonna want to go through part of the bucket. I think I already said that. And you're just going to tie it down, just so it doesn't come loose. Same thing with this side, but if you have a bit of a long piece, you definitely, because you don't want it to get loose either, you want to kind of come so it's a little bit tight. Go through part of the bucket. And then once again, you'll just take a band of the bucket color, pull it through everything, push the back one over the front one and pull tight. And you don't really have to tuck these in because you can just turn them back inside out and you'll be good. But yeah, so that's how you do the pumpkin mouth. I don't know if I stated that we're doing the pumpkin right now, but I'll show you how to do the ghost after if that's what you're waiting for. So the eyes are much easier after we stitch that whole mouth. It's kind of the same thing, but definitely like a lot simpler. So you're going to want to come where you want the eyes. I'm going to put them right here. So I'm going to go like across these two. I'm going to pull one side of a band in. I'm going to keep it on my hook. I'm going to come up where I want like the other part of the eye to be. And then still with both ends back. I lost an end. With both ends on my hook, I'm just going to look to make sure it's in like across the bands I want. It's kind of really hard to show you guys. But once I have the eye where I want it, I'll just take a light green band in our bucket color, pull it through both ends back on my hook, push the back one over the front one and pull tight. And then you'll have like half of the eye, and you'll just repeat that again on the other side to give it like this little triangular thing. But basically we're kind of just wrapping it around some bands and then tying it in the back, if that makes sense. So I'm going to come up through here and here. Well, no. Here's the eye. Now I'm going to come up through here and here. So I'm going to go back into this spot and then into this spot. But you kind of have to come around it. So we're going to pull one side in. And I started at the top, you see, in the same spot. And then I'm going to come down right here. I'm going to pull the other side of this band in. And then with both ends back, with both of the ends on my hook, I'm going to take a band that's in my bucket color, pull it through everything on my hook, put both ends back on my hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then that'll make the eye. Like that. And you do want to make sure it's in the right spot. Like, make sure you're kind of going in the middle of your mouth. I don't know if mine might be a little off center. It might be. It's okay though. Sorry, I'm making sure everything is how I want it. But yeah, we'll just do the other eye over here. We repeat the same process, so I'll show you again in case you're confused. But I'm going to make it wrap around these bands right here. So I'm going to come up through this part on the bottom, pull the band to the inside. Then I'm going to come kind of... So what you want to do is, you see how the bottom part's kind of out and then I'm coming till it's like the middle bit? You kind of do want to make it a little diagonal. Pull both the ends to the inside. Take a band in your bucket color. And then you just tie them together with a slip knot, basically. Like that. And then you just do the other part of the eye. So we're going to come here and then we'll go in there. And it'll kind of be wrapped around that one band. Do you see that? I don't know how to explain this. I'm hoping you can get it from what I'm doing. But I would definitely say if you're confused, maybe watch what I'm doing first and then try to do it, because it's hard to explain. Once you have both your ends on your hook, you slip knot them together. And then you have the eye. Like that. So my pumpkin does look kind of sad because I should have gone like up here. Instead I started from down and went up. You definitely want to think about that, like having both the ends of the mouth up like I do on this one. I kind of messed up on this guy, and instead of like it should have stopped here, so it should have been like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then like ends in an up, because then that'll make him look smiley. But if you want him to look angry, you would end in like a down. So yeah, but he's okay. So if the pumpkin face was hard for you, you can definitely do a ghost face, which is much, much easier. This part I did glue on with a glue gun though, so just keep that in mind, like the little circle mouth. But you can definitely do like a ghost face, and I'll show you how to do the ghost face real quickly, and then we'll get into how to do the candy and the handle and all that, but just to cover all the faces. So the ghost face is really easy. I don't know why I put so many bands on my hook. So it's kind of the same way on how we did the eyes for the pumpkin. Except for you're going to kind of want to stretch them like long across more bands. So you're going to come where you want the eyes first. You're going to come out. Where should I put the eyes? Yeah, right here's fine. Once again, you'll pull one end in. Oops. Oh my gosh, hold up. So you'll pull the one end in and you'll kind of be holding the other end with your finger. You're going to come kind of down like in a diagonal, so I'm going to come about right here, and we're going to pull the other end in. And then once again, once we have both the ends on our hook, we're going to take a band in our bucket color, and we're going to tie it down. We'll tie them together. So you just pull a band through both those, both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then you would have one ghosty eye. And that's all you do for the eyes on the ghost. So then you'd repeat this on the other side. Let me connect right here. Pull it in. Then once you have both the ends on your hook, take a band in your bucket color, pull it through everything, push it back on over the front one and pull tight. Like that. And then you'll have some ghosty eyes. There's a lot of different ways you can do the mouth, maybe even without cutting a band. I just don't know how to do any. I just cut a black band. I put a dot of hot glue and then I made it into a circle. But you can definitely probably do stuff for your ghost with without a glue gun. Like you can probably just cut a band, like a black band, and then pull it into your creation and make him look sad. I don't know, this is definitely a design. You can have fun with the different faces on your buckets, but you can definitely just cut a black band, kind of pull it in to make him look kind of sad. Oh no, he looks happy now. I don't know what kind of face that is, but you can definitely experiment with different ways to do the mouths and stuff. Like I showed you how to do it with the pumpkin, you can definitely try to stitch it all kinds of different ways to do something for the ghost. But if you want the circle mouth, I just put a dot of hot glue and then I cut a black band and then I kind of just cut the black band so it would make a tiny circle to make his mouth. But next step for this guy, once you have your face on your bucket, is to put some stuffing in. I just take like, oh, that's not the stuffing. I just take a cotton ball and I just put enough so that way he's like halfway filled with stuffing, and that way we can fill the other half with candy. So don't put a lot, just put enough to cover the bottom, like that. And then for the handle, we're just gonna want to get, okay, so for the handle, it's just like 16 doubled bands like across and then attached. I'll show you how to do it, but you're gonna want 16 black bands or whatever color you want the handle to be. And we're gonna go through this part right here. So you're gonna want to make sure you're not putting the handle on crooked. So we're gonna start right here and it's gonna go across the other side. So right here's a good spot. So you'll just go through part of the bucket. You're gonna take a black band, double it, pull it through everything on your hook, both ends back on, and now we're just gonna chain up 15 more because we want 16 chain total. So we'll just take a band, double it, pull it through, both ends back on, and we just keep repeating that until we have done it 15 times in total. So, well no, 16 in total if you count this first one. So we have 1, 2, we want to do it 14 more. So I'm just going to do this quickly because it's very repetitive. We're just going to keep chaining them up with doubled bands. So just make sure you double your band before you do this. So you just double your band, chain it up. And you could totally not count, like the handle's not one of those things where it's like you have to have it like 16 double bands chained up. Honestly, because I'm lazy, like the way I would do it is once I like my handle, like the length it is going across, I would just stop and then tie it down. But I did do 16, just if you want an exact number, but I'm not counting right now, and if I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I don't think I am. I'm just gonna do it until I feel like it's long enough, and then I'm gonna tie it down on the other side. And I'm picking up more back bands because I ran out. So you can see I'm just kind of testing how long the handle is. And I'm going to make mine a little longer, but I don't even know how many we're at chained. And to be honest, I don't feel like counting. So I'm just going to look at it. And if I like how long that is, you would just tie it down. But I'm going to do like 2 more real quick, and then I'll show you how to tie it down. Like 2 more, just chained up. Just because it needs to be a little longer. And then I'll just look at where I want to attach it. If I feel like it's long enough, which I do, I'm just going to come through some bands across here, take a band in my bucket color, pull it through everything. Put both ends back on my hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then I would just tuck this into the bucket. And luckily, because we have this stuffed bit, once you get it like down a little bit, it should stay hidden. Just tuck it in. And like that, you have a handle. So that's pretty much it for the bucket part. I think my handle's a little, actually, no, it's not crooked. I thought it was crooked. It's not crooked. So the very last step we have to do is the candy, which is the fun part. So I'm going to show you how to make a candy corn to stick in him, as well as just like a basic piece of candy. And you can do whatever kind of colors you want for this. I'm going to be using some of these. Well, I'm going to show you how to do like maybe 2 candies, and then you can make however many you want for your guy. But I think I'm going to do like some pink candy. I'll show you how to do 2, and then you should be good. Oops, I hit record already. I wasn't expecting it to just go, but so once you have all your colors you want for your candy, as well as the candy corn. So for the candy corn, you're obviously going to want like white, yellow, and orange. We will get started. So the candy's pretty simple, and let me take these black bands off my finger. You don't need them. I really like using these multicolored bands. I feel like if you have any multicolored bands you don't know what to do with, this is a good thing to use them for. I feel like I always have to point that out because I have just so many multicolored bands back at home that they're harder to use. Like cotton candy bands would probably be good for this. If you have any of the, oh my god, if you have any of those Halloween, like the tri-colored bands, that would be really cool. And then they could glow, okay. I don't have any with me right now, but that would be cute. But for the candy, you're gonna start by wrapping a band 3 times around your hook. So 1, 2, and 3. You're gonna pull a band through that, put both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and you're gonna want to pull this fairly tight. Like I would say like pretty tight, but not too tight. Just tight enough so that way the band we pushed over won't slip over the cat band. That's how tight you want it, but you don't want it like when we tie it off, we really pull it tight. You don't want it that tight, but you want it significantly tight. Okay. I was just double checking. And then we can set this aside. And what we're going to do next is we're going to take 3 bands and we're going to wrap them 3 times around our hook. So we have 3 bands. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to take this. We are going to slide this on to this like slip knotted band. Like that. We're going to slide it down. And then we need to make like the other end of the candy. So the way we do that is we're going to take a band. We're going to triple it. We're going to slide it onto this as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to pick this back up. So we're going to pick up that tripled band, and then we're just going to take this band on our hook and slide it over. And then just pull on it a little bit. And you should be good. And then you'll have a little candy to put in your guy. So I'm going to show you that again because I know it can be a little confusing. But basically what we're doing is, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Claire's bracelet, I think, where you've got like those kind of like double-sided looking cat bands. Let me see if I can twist a band to show you. But like, it's like when we make a stitch, we have this like one horizontal piece. There's a way you can make it so like both the horizontal pieces are facing each other. That's kind of basically what we're doing with this. I don't know how to explain the logic behind it, but I had this idea to do it and it works and it makes it look like a little candy. But the reason why you don't want to pull the slip knot too far at the start is that you can end up with this band in the middle being really loose, and you really don't want that either. So yeah, but that's how you do that. And I'll show you again. So let's make another piece of candy. I have some hot pink bands here. Let me just pick up some of those. Oh, we have a cat hair. Is that a cat hair? It's not one of mine. But we'll pick up some more bands. And to me this is the fun part, like getting to make candy to stick in your... Is that another cat hair? Oh my god, that is a cat hair. Okay, so I'll show you again. So you're going to want to start with just a band. You're going to wrap it 3 times around your hook. Then you're going to take a band, pull it through this, Both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and you're just going to want to pull it tight enough so that way it doesn't slide over the cap band, but not too tight at all, like just barely tight enough. Because you really don't want to stretch out this band. Then you'll take it off your hook, set it aside, wrap this 3 times around your hook, so that's one. Well, you're gonna take 3 bands and then wrap it 3 times around your hook. You're gonna take this, you're gonna slide that cap band onto it, or that triple wrap band onto it. You're just gonna slide everything on. Then once again, we'll kind of set this aside. Take a band, wrap it 3 times around our hook. Then we'll slide that triple wrap band onto our hook, and we're going to want to kind of keep track of that triple cap band because we're going to pick it back up. And then we're going to slide, so this band, so there's our triple cap band, there's the band that like has everything on it. We're going to get that. We're going to push it over that triple cap band, and then we'll have our candy. Like that. So you're going to want to make however many candies you want to stick in your bucket. I think I would usually do like 4 candies and 1 candy corn, so you're going to probably want to do like 2 more. But for the candy corn's a little harder than the candy, if I'm being honest. The candy's probably the hardest part in this design, and that's just because of how it's done. Like, it's hard to avoid it. But for the candy corn, you're going to want 1 white band, 2 orange bands, well actually 3 orange bands, but we start with only 2, and then 3 yellow bands. So we're going to start by wrapping the white band 3 times around our hook. Just like that. And now we're going to put 2 stitches into this cap band. So take an orange band, pull it through, both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one, go back through the cap band, pull the band through just the cap band. And right now it's really easy to see which is the cap band. Both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well. And then we're going to turn. So we're facing this way, we're going to turn so we face the other way. We're going to go through that loop, and we're going to do an increase in this loop. So we're going to put 2 yellow bands, but because we're flipping to yellow, we're also going to slip stitch. So we're going to pull this first band through everything on our hook, then push the back one over the front one. Then we're going to go back into that same loop, pull a band through, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well. So we just made a stitch. And now for this last stitch, we're going to go into a really weird part. So we're going to go into part of this loop that the yellow bands are on, so just one part of it, not the whole thing. And then we're going to go through part of this weird horizontally band, and we're just going to make a stitch. So we'll just pull it through like if it was a loop, back one over the front one, loop from last time over as well. And it might look a little weird at this point, but if you tug on it, it should be okay. And now we're going to kind of turn, we're going to come through these weird orange bands here, and we're just going to tie this off. Just come through those weird orange bands. And this is where your last orange band comes into play. So you're just going to take your last orange band, pull it through everything, both ends back on your hook, basically just make a slip knot and pull tight. And then you kind of have to pull on your candy corn a little bit, but it should kind of come into shape. And then you just have to hide this tail into this extremely tiny candy corn, which is really hard and annoying, but it's worth it. So, at least I think it's worth it. So you're just gonna hide that tail in by just going through parts of this candy corn and tucking it in. It is possible to tuck it in, it's just a little bit of a pain, which is why I don't put a lot of candy corns in my like buckets. I only usually put 1 per bucket. But yeah, if your candy corn looks a little weird, I would just tug on it a little bit and kind of squish it around. But it should look like this, and you can just stick it in your bucket. So that's how you make all the candy. I'm sorry if the candy corn's a little confusing. That's the best way I can explain how to make it. It's just tough. But you can always just make candies and stick it in. You don't need to put a little candy corn in, even though it's a fun touch. But I think that is it for this tutorial. So you can also always come up with other candies to stick in your guy. Like, don't be afraid to mess around with some bands and maybe try to make something else to stick in him, and let me know if you end up making anything else. Because I think I already said this, I don't know if I did, but my little brother was like, why didn't you make a lollipop to stick in him? Because I agree, that would be adorable, but I couldn't figure it out. So if one of you guys figure out how to make a lollipop, like a really tiny one, and stick it in, let me know, because I want to put one in mine. But like I said, I think that is it for this tutorial. So if you make one, definitely share it with me. I would love to see how yours turn out. I have been a little bit behind on designs lately, like just seeing them and liking them. That's just because I'm in school, but I do want to let you guys know that every time you guys tag me in anything or I see it, I'm always so excited, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to make my stuff. I love doing this, and just like being able to share my designs with other people is like one of my favorite parts about this whole thing. So if you make this, definitely share with me. Also because I just want to see how yours turn out. And also I just want to say, don't be afraid to make like different faces with your pumpkin too. I kind of showed you how I did the stitchy thing, but I feel like this is definitely one of those designs where you guys can even take it farther, try different things. I would just say that, like, you know how to make the bucket, you know how to make the candy, maybe have some fun with it. I don't know. I'm a very, like, I don't want to say I'm a very creative person, but I don't know. I might mess around with making different faces on these guys some more, so we'll see. But yeah, so subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. I am gonna try to maybe get my Frankenstein out before Halloween. You guys will probably be seeing this video on Saturday, like the Saturday before Halloween, because Halloween's on a Monday this year when I'm filming this. I'm gonna try to get him out, but there's no guarantee I will be able to film that tutorial, but I'm gonna try to get it out before Halloween. So yeah, but subscribe if you want to see anything, like any more loom tutorials from me. I'm always coming up with stuff, and you can count on me coming up with new stuff, because that's just what I love to do. So yeah, subscribe if you want to see more designs. I have so many designs, so many ideas coming. But yeah, link down below. I have my Instagram, Etsy, and all that. If you want to check me out anywhere else, I always post my designs on Instagram first, so if you want to get an idea of what's coming, you can check me out on Instagram. And I would really appreciate it if you check out my Etsy. You can see I have all kinds of different stuff on there, so yeah. But I think that is it for this video. Thank you if you made this design. Let me know how it went. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.